Top 10 Extraterrestrial SCPs. Number 10. SCP-1682. Object Class Neutralized. SCP-1682 is believed to be a large, segmented, worm-like entity located in the Sun. Approximate length of the entity is believed to be 28,075 kilometers. This data was found measuring the time between first initial emergence to its disappearance from the photosphere. The appearance of SCP-1682 near solar prominence is believed to be coincidental, as the entity's apparition in relation to the features is not consistent. Attached image 1682H displays the typical diving and looping motion of SCP-1682. The entity appears to roam the surface of the photosphere for 3 to 4 months before disappearing again beneath for periods of 8 to 12 months. The extended periods of disappearance, glowing appearance upon resurfacing, and the angle and speed of the entity in relation to the general surface of the photosphere suggest brief contact with radiative portions of the Sun's interior. Number 9. SCP-3200. Object Class Keter. SCP-3200 is a region of space, currently 300 million light-years in diameter, located at approximately right ascension, 14 hours 50 minutes, and declination 46 degrees. It is commonly referred to as the Boots Void by civilian scientists. At present, the exact properties of SCP-3200 are unknown, as most research into the anomaly was conducted by the now defunct Peregrine Expedition Program. As such, there is considerable debate into how exactly SCP-3200 functions, though the following principles are considered to be accurate by majority consensus. SCP-3200 represents an exceptionally thin and potentially open region of space-time such that transuniversal contact is possible through SCP-3200. The anomaly is expanding at a rate of 1 million light-years per year. The expansion of SCP-3200 poses a non-zero threat of a UK-class universal collapse scenario. All other points concerning the exact properties of SCP-3200 are considered to be highly speculative. Number 8. SCP-4774. Object Class Euclid. SCP-4774 is the hypothetical Planet 9, a trans-Neptunian gas giant potentially orbiting the Sun at a distance of around 700 astronomical units. If it exists, SCP-4774 would be 2 to 4 times the diameter of Earth and approximately 10 times the mass. SCP-4774's anomalous properties become apparent whenever any subject attempts to consider the possibility of the planet's existence. Subjects will universally arrive, even when not previously informed of the natures of space, planets in general, or the universe beyond the Earth, at the following conclusions: that if SCP-4774 existed, it would account for a number of irregularities in the motions of various astronomical bodies. That if SCP-4774 didn't exist, it would account for the lack of any human interaction with the planet at any point in history. That the possibility of life existing on the planet cannot be ruled out. That the possibility of sapient life existing on the planet cannot be ruled out. That the lack of evidence for the planet's existence could be accounted for by a natural sensory extrapolation, set concealment field encompassing the region. That the evidence for the planet's existence could be accounted for by a number of other minor sources, anomalous and non-anomalous. The current theory among research staff is that the effects of SCP-4774 represent either an anomalous mimetic hypothesis masking the state of the planet, or an ontological anomaly surrounding its potential existence. Number 7. SCP-1281. Object Class Safe. SCP-1280. Is a biomechanical entity found in the Kuiper Belt during the standard containment of SCP-2362. SCP-1280. Is roughly teardrop-shaped with a flattened section designated as the bottom of the entity. It measures 12 meters from end to end and is 11 meters in circumference at its widest point. Opposite, there is a significant bulge which is believed to store the majority of SCP-1280's analysis equipment. There are several dish-shaped structures on SCP-1280's surface that are presumed to be receivers for various forms of electromagnetic radiation, as well as lozenge-shaped capsules of unknown purpose. Several areas on its surface are broken, suggesting more appendages were once present. Biological components appear to have been grown over a mechanical frame, evidently designed to live in deep space. When observed, the entities seem to have difficulty coping with temperatures much warmer than the Kuiper Belt. Its surface temperature was 50 Kelvin when first found. SCP-1280 was apparently once capable of interstellar travel, but most of its systems were damaged by an unknown event that left it stranded. Dating methods suggested to have been at least 1.3 billion years old, though much of that time was spent dormant. The entity was almost entirely dormant when it was found. The only signs that it was active were faint lights running along its surface. Observation and experimentation showed that these were in response to radio waves. It had apparently been collecting signals for some time, but no sign of other functions could be detected until Foundation assets approached, at which point it began broadcasting. It was able to break Foundation decryption in less than 1 hour, at which point it began broadcasting binary signals in an attempt to communicate, starting with extremely simple mathematical concepts. However, after a report was transmitted back to Earth, it stopped broadcasting for several days. The temperature of its dorsal bulge heated by 5 Kelvin during this time, apparently from processing the information. Number 6. SCP-2362. Object Class Keter. SCP-2362 is the designation of Pluto, an interior Kuiper Belt object, following the discovery of its organic composition by Foundation researchers in 1983. SCP-2362 was reduced to this state during the emergence of SCP-2362-1 from its southern pole. SCP-2362-1 is an object approximately 900 kilometers in length, consisting of a bell-shaped mass with 13 trailing appendages and generally resembling a jellyfish of the genus Pelagia. It radiates blue light and has no discernible surface features. SCP-2362-1 is able to propel itself by expanding and contracting its appendages. The mechanism of this propulsion is poorly understood, but may have some similarity to conventional ion propulsion, given the stream of charged particles detected in the object's wake. Upon its emergence, the natural satellites of SCP-2362 were torn apart by tidal forces and now form part of the debris field. SCP-2362-1 is currently following an escape trajectory as it heads towards the vicinity of Barnard's star at a speed exceeding 30,000 meters per second. As it is estimated to leave the solar system at some point within the year 20 redacted, the object is not considered a threat to life on Earth at this point in time. while SCP-2362 is visible from Earth through high-power telescopes, the debris field is dense enough that a difference from its appearance previous to Event 2362-A is only perceptible with the telescopes of some observatories and artificial satellites. Number 5. SCP-5005. Object Class Keter. SCP-5005 is a human settlement located 3,449 wellens to the multiversal east of the central reality compass and 87 wellens beyond where matter is ordinarily capable of permanently existing. Consequently, it is the most remote settlement created by a sentient creature and the most remote matter in existence. SCP-5005 is constructed on an expanse of an Earth-like substance which acts as a fertile soil. The extent of this expanse is unknown, as it is impossible to engage in long-term exploration beyond the limits of SCP-5005-1's light range. SCP-5005-1 is a large biomechanical lantern suspended over SCP-5005. SCP-5005-1's light possesses a degree of reality stabilization far in excess of any other known examples, allowing for the permanent existence of matter within its light range. However, SCP-5005-1's capacity as a light source is limited and temperamental due to its size and distance from SCP-5005. Its lux illumination is relatively low in the settlement. It is frequently described as being similar to the light of a full moon on Earth. SCP-5005-1 is suspended above SCP-5005 by a large protruding tendril which emerges from the expanse and forms an arc above SCP-5005. The tendril is believed to be constructed from an artificially hardened and strengthened form of the expanse substance. The composition of the expanse substance is unknown. Various scholars have proposed a link to Sriscan holochrome, which possesses a similarly unusual molecular structure. However, the archaeological record of Srisca is very limited, and no currently known Sriscan technologies could create something on the scale of the expanse substance. The residents of SCP-5005 refer to the substance as Mahi Loam, a word which has no known connection to any of the cultures on SCP-5005 and is of unknown provenance. Further investigation is required. Number 4. SCP-1959. Object Class Keter. SCP-1959 is an unmarked white spacesuit similar in make to Soviet's S-1 model used in Vostok program with few alterations. The suit itself appears to be indestructible. The helmet's visor is badly damaged and misted over, preventing any observation of its interior. So far, all attempts to communicate with SCP-1959 have failed. The subject is also known to emit considerable amounts of gamma radiation. SCP-1959 appears to continuously orbit around the Earth at a reasonably constant speed. Subject's position can vary between low to high Earth orbit at any given moment. SCP-1959 will ram through any obstacle it encounters, causing grave structural damage. While the subject is capable of independent movement, it remains motionless most of the time. On the occasion the subject does move, its body language shows signs of extreme distress, and it will sometimes make attempts to break its visor. There are recorded instances where SCP-1959 hovered in place for a certain period of time before moving off again. According to observations made to such events, the subject appears to be resisting some unseen force before being pulled away. Number 3. SCP-163, Object Class Safe. SCP-163 is a sapient organism of extraterrestrial origin. When standing, it is 2 meters tall and 1.5 meters wide, the bulk of the body being suspended 50 centimeters from the ground. The body is roughly cylindrical with a circular mouth at the bottom, the equivalent of a head at the top, and 8 3-jointed legs arranged radially around the equator. SCP-163 also has a series of specialized limbs, listed here. 2 prehensile feeding apparatus on either side of the mouth. 2 arms near the top of the body used for delicate manipulation. 2 larger arms located closer to the legs, used for heavy manipulation and lifting, and capable of producing a steady force of approximately 500 newtons and a striking force of up to 2,000 newtons. 2 appendages of indeterminate function located between the legs and mouth parts, which had been amputated prior to SCP-163's discovery. 30 centimeters from the top of the body is a single semi-compound eye which extends in a ring around it, allowing a full 360 degrees of vision. There is a blind spot at the back of the head to make way for an organ used for elimination of bodily waste. The compound eye is separated into 88 units. The most likely hypothesis is that each unit receives only vertical information while the brain intuits horizontal information by comparing input from the different units. The eye is sensitive to light wavelengths between 150 nanometers and 300 nanometers, equivalent to UVC, which is harmful to most terrestrial light. SCP-163 contains an endoskeleton which consists of tissue similar in chemical composition and structure to cellulose. The skeletal structure protrudes from the uppermost joint of each leg and appears to have been blunted by mechanical means. No pain response is exhibited when samples are taken from these protrusions. The skin is transparent to visible wavelengths of light but opaque to ultraviolet. Blood samples taken have an oxygen and carbon dioxide transport system based on nickel rather than the iron or copper used by terrestrial organisms, and is green in color. Analysis of blood and tissue shows that SCP-163 cells use DNA for instruction, with the standard GCAT bases. However, a different method is used to interpret said instructions. Sets of 3 bases still code for amino acids, but they are not the same ones that are coded for in terrestrial cells. In addition, some terrestrial amino acids are not present in its biology, while others that it uses are not present in Earth's biosphere, allowing for dramatically different protein arrangements. SCP-163's home environment would have contained different proportions of elements compared to that of Earth. This is evidenced by its sensitivity to certain common elements and its resistance to other less common ones. Redacted, a heavy metal poisonous to terrestrial life, is used in SCP-163's metabolism. Iron and calcium, though not used by SCP-163, causes no harmful effects to it. Exposure to redacted in any chemical form causes damage to tissue. Redacted are as harmful to SCP-163 as they are to us. Furthermore, the atmosphere would have had different proportions of gases. SCP-163 is able to survive in our atmosphere for some time without mechanical aid, but will begin to show signs of illness after 1 hour. Air that is filtered to remove certain common terrestrial elements will prevent such an event. Analysis of SCP-163's technology includes searches for hermetically sealed chambers which may contain evidence of its home atmosphere. It is unknown how SCP-163 communicates complex ideas. The only vocalization produced by it is a steady sinusoidal wave of approximately 15 Hz when in certain emotional states. There is no variation to this vocalization, which can last from 15 seconds to 10 minutes. It is recommended that personnel exposed to this sound remain in well-lit conditions to prevent feelings of paranoia. Emotions are primarily displayed by the dome of tissue above the compound eye. Different states correspond to distortion of furrows in the skin by subdermal muscle. In addition, a negative and affirmative gesture have been noted. An affirmative consists of the rapid beating together of SCP-163's delicate manipulators, while a negative is the same gesture performed by heavy manipulators. Number 2. SCP-4444. SCP-4444 is an incorporeal extra-dimensional entity that has been cohabitating the body of former United States Vice President Albert Arnold Gore Jr., presumably since late 1998. The entity is invisible to the naked eye, but appears under infrared as a long, slender, translucent hexagonal pyramid with 6 triangular vents, one at the top of each of its 6 faces, emerging from the upper back of Vice President Gore's head. The entity is inscribed with numerous glyphs written in an alien language, many of which glow when it is co-opting the voice of Vice President Gore. SCP-4444 is capable of altering the dimensionality of Vice President Gore, allowing him to become incorporeal in order to evade or escape containment. When doing this, SCP-4444 begins to glow brightly under infrared, and both itself and the Vice President become capable of walking through any and all physical barriers. Foundation engineers have not yet discovered the technology capable of restraining SCP-4444, making it impossible to maintain containment of the entity. Beyond this, SCP-4444 appears to have a number of other anomalous abilities, making it a consistent threat to informational awareness breach. Despite this, since the end of the 2000 United States presidential race, SCP-4444 has expressed none of these anomalous abilities. SCP-4444 refers to itself as part of a massive collective of similar entities. It responds to the name Garba Gore and can speak by co-opting the voice of Vice President Gore, though its speech patterns are unusual and typically difficult to parse. This is likely due to the translation barrier between SCP-4444's native means of communication and Vice President Gore's brain. SCP-4444's stated intention for arriving on Earth was as a reconnaissance mission for its collective, a group of similar extra-dimensional conical entities who travel across the universe, searching for new sentient beings to cohabitate with. By SCP-4444's own admission, the result of this cohabitation usually results in the destruction of the host planet, typically due to greenhouse failure. SCP-4444, and presumably other instances like it, produces an unusually high amount of greenhouse gases when directly exposed to solar radiation. SCP-4444 has also admitted that its population would not travel to Earth unless it had cohabitated the mind of the most powerful entity on the planet, in order to assure that the arrival of the other extra-dimensional beings would not be impeded by whatever power that entity represented. When SCP-4444 arrived in late 1998, it mistakenly believed that person was Vice President Al Gore. Realizing its mistake too late and being unable to remove itself from the vice president's head, it set upon its goal of being elected to the United States' highest office. Number 1. SCP-1342, Object Class Euclid. SCP-1342-1 is a replica of Voyager 1. Exact replication of the original probe extends to sensor packages and apparent chemical composition. However, some components appear to have been constructed based on incomplete plans or parts. As a result, several components were non-functional upon recovery. SCP-1342-1 was initially detected on September 25, 1982, approximately 35,000 kilometers above the Earth's surface, traveling at a suborbital velocity. Foundation agents recovered SCP-1342-1 on September 27, 1982, after SCP-1342-1 underwent an uncontrolled atmospheric entry and splashed down 300 kilometers east of Baker Island, Pacific Ocean. SCP-1342-1's detection was possible due to a large burst of Cherenkov radiation that occurred. It is currently unknown how SCP-1342-1 remained intact during its descent, despite appearing to have similar chemical composition to the original Voyager. SCP-1342-2 is a gold-plated phonograph record, with specifications matching the golden records carried on the Voyager probes. Instructions for playing and decoding remain original. However, the pulsar map has been altered to show the star Gliese 445 as the origin of SCP-1342. When decoded, SCP-1342-2 contains a variety of cultural and scientific data in the form of images and audio. Approximately 2 hours of audio recordings are present, consisting of various forms of music and a tonal buzzing. Part of the music appears to be an excerpt of Cavatina from the String Quartet No. 13 in B-flat, Opus 130 by Beethoven. The encoded images vary greatly in content, but all contain physical or chemical information on the subject and a string of pictorial characters. A radially symmetric organism, referred to as SCP-1342-3, is shown in various stages of development. Fully grown, the organism is approximately 2 meters tall and has 3 legs and 3 elongated arms, with each hand having 3 fingers positioned around a central axis on a roughly cylindrical torso. 3 snout-like protrusions exist in place of a head, each ending in a beak. 82% of the encoded images show SCP-1342-3 in a wide variety of presumed cultural settings. Scenes identified include agriculture, manufacturing, urban crowds, and the playing of music on a string and bow instrument. Images of a number of celestial bodies are also included, such as a Venusian-type world with high atmospheric pressure and a star-matching Gliese 445 stellar spectra. One planet shown has a partially Earth-like surface consisting of approximately 60% liquid water, 4% urbanization and plant life, and 36% apparent desert and wasteland. The planet has larger than expected storms and ice caps than would be suggested by physical quantities supplied by SCP-1342-2 and appears to be undergoing massive ecological collapse. An outline of a specimen of SCP-1342-3 is shown next to this planet. This planet is shown to have extensive orbital infrastructure, not limited to spacecraft manufacturing facilities, captured asteroid mining operations, and space elevators grounded near urbanized and wasteland areas. All of these images show the structures to be in a wrecked or neglected state. The final encoded image shows a vessel heading towards an extremely damaged Taurus-style space station with a 2-kilometer diameter aperture at its center. Thanks for watching. What is your favorite extraterrestrial SCP? Did we miss out on any important ones? Let us know in the comments below.